This recording sweatshop going on.
Get back in your chair.
Get back in the chair. Get in the chair.
We're not done our weekly
yet.
content.
We're not done yet.
We're not done yet.
We keep recording videos so I can.
So if we were a bit more efficient, we could probably squeeze a fourth video in here.
We probably could. Yeah. Just so I can, I don't know, make like how many? $5 extra or whatever.
$5 dues that you can put directly into God knows what. Paying insurance or something, I don't know.
Probably, yeah. No kidding.
You know, people come in, and one of the common questions I get from people the most often, especially for people that are like, you know, your regulars that come maybe every couple weeks, not every like week or every few days, is like, what's new? What's new? What's new? What's kicking? What's happening? Yeah. And you know, it's obviously a legit social question. And usually they mean like, what's new with me? What's new with the shop? You know, and my brain automatically goes, you know, because I'm a corporate shill or whatever for Games Workshop, you know, and I just start listing off the 60 billion things that's come out in the last 3 weeks or whatever, and it's all GW things, right? And of course that's where your mind goes because there's so much saturation of messaging from one company that it's really hard for any. We've talked about this many times on the channel. It's like it's really hard for any other company even to get like a little. It's like the radio signal's trying to get through, and it's just like getting jammed, like with all the intercepting sort of radio signals.
It's a very complicated analogy.
I don't think it works either. I don't know anything about radio waves. That's why I was making like the laser thing with my finger. I'm like, it's like a laser, right? Not at all. And we were thinking about that in the context with Corvus Belli's new product, Warcrow, and how. Yeah, it's cool. I guess and that's it, and that's just it, right? So we've been waiting for it for a while. We've talked about it on the channel a little bit, and I think the thing that really clicks with releases from companies now that aren't Games Workshop is just how tiny of a little splash that they make. Yeah. And because they don't have this like constant like engine that is Warhammer Community, and they don't have this engine of stores basically like putting up pre-orders, and you're just hammered with release dates constantly, it almost like drops and nobody knows that it's out in a weird way. Yes. You know what I mean? And so I have people like that are legitimately interested in it, and they're not like even sure it's out yet. It's like watching rain hitting a puddle, and only one of those drops is a Corvus Belli thing. The rest of them are Games Workshop drops. Yeah. So how do you differentiate which one landed and did what splash or whatever? Yeah, it's and you know, like one thing that, you know, is the benefit of being a massive company with like insane logistics is that Games Workshop has the same release date for everything across the entire world. Oh yeah. And that's taken for granted a lot. That is true. Whereas a company like Corvus Belli is or any other company. Or, we should say any other company. Like even like companies like Asmodee who try to do their best, still have delays in countries and things like that. Yeah. Corvus Belli has like stuff come out at the beginning of the month in Spain, and then it's up on their website and it says it's available. And then it says a month that's not really the month it comes out in, and then by the time it hits North America, it's the end of the month. And so like there's this constant confusion about like when products come out, and I'm always reminding customers, it's actually almost a month after they tell you it is by the time it gets to us, right? Yeah. So it was just kind of like we were just kind of chatting about it like casually, which is how a lot of these videos end up coming to be, where we're just like, it just kind of goes back to it is so hard right now for these companies to put anything new out. Yeah, so like a product like Warcrow, we got the 2-player box. It's got nice minis in it. Yeah, the game looks cool, and I think it sells for like $190 or something. So it's kind of like equivalent to a Games Workshop Army set or something, where you have a Kill Team box or something. Or a Kill Team box. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, because I think you get a little board in there, and there's some terrain, and you get 2 teams and a rule book, and everything's in there.
and this has been talked about for like over a year.
Oh, yeah.
I guess they did a Kickstarter for some of it, and they've showed it off at different events, and they're demo. Like, there's such a lot. It's like waiting for a video game or TV show or movie to come out. You're waiting and waiting, and then it came out great, awesome. Customers get their copies. And it just dawned on me earlier in the week that I was like, all of this, like, stuff, like mental energy and marketing, all this stuff, resources going on for this one release. And I was like, that's just a random Saturday in the Games Workshop.
And maybe a small Saturday.
Well, like this past one was just the Blood Angel Army set. And that was...
Whoa. Yeah, that's a drop.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, that's... you know what next week is or whatever? Or 2 weeks from now?
14 Skaven sets?
14 Skaven, 15 or 14 or 15 Skaven sets. Yeah. And they're each average $60 to $70 a box, and a lot of stores are ordering more than one.
Oh yeah,
a lot of stores are going to get tapped for like, I don't know, $5,000 or something of stock.
Yeah,
and that's one faction in one of their games.
People are only using those for Old World though. Yeah, got them.
Yeah. Or 0 people. Yeah. There's no squares in those boxes.
You can buy square bases.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'd probably some Giselles and Stormvermin, maybe. Anyway.
And it's just one of those like things you think about. Like, and of course we always have to say this because like people even don't listen even when I say it.
No.
This is like a retail perspective, right? This is coming. We're literally sitting in a store where we sell models to make a living, right?
Yes.
And we're just kind of commenting more on the general industry about how much of magnetism there is towards the GW stuff, especially right now, even compared to 5, 6, 7 years ago, right? Like it's as strong as it's ever been, and there's been other periods in time where it's been this strong, but like it's definitely as strong as it's ever been. And that magnetism, you just see the effect on like these other side products, which are seemingly really well put together, well thought out, they've taken the time to do them justice, and yeah, I think you're just getting a sense of scale here, like just how small these other companies are compared to the giant.
It's also a commentary on when you do get asked this question, or people bring up is what are other games doing, or why isn't what's going on in the shop, or how come this game, I like this game, but it could be anything. It could just be it could be like we said, other quality games. It could be one of the Asmodee products, or whatever, whether it was like games that we used to carry, and I know obviously some stores still carry, like the Malifaux and the etc.
I'm glad you added that. We would have gotten in a lot of trouble if you didn't say that. Little asterisk there.
Well, sorry, stores outside of Canada. I don't know about Canada. Ain't nobody in Canada.
Hey, there's a little tiny shelf.
There's a shelf somewhere in Canada.
In Hamilton, with a tiny section.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw it with my own eyes.
You saw it with your own eyes?
Yeah.
I don't believe you, but
Lord, Jesus.
But yeah, why? This is why is when, like we said, someone could literally walk in and you'd be like, "What's new?" And you could be like, "Yeah, Warcrow got a new thing." They're like, "Okay, cool," and then you can then spend the next 5-10 minutes just explaining all of the GW stuff that's happening, and you're like, "Well, we got this for Kill Team, we got this for Imperials, we got." New Sigmar battle tomes are coming. Blood Angel's got an army box. And that's just in the last 3 weeks or something. Like, it's not even like, I'm not exaggerating. Like, it's just like, so it is. This is the interesting like discussion. Is like, we're already here now. 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Like, where is the? I know. I can feel the comments about the like. My favorite ones now are that the Games Workshop success thing is they've pressing and they're only in and I think people I think there will be a Games Workshop a little peak like anything. There will be like a little peak and then a little dip and it'll maybe plateau a bit, but it's going to go back up. It's not going to just like people are thinking is going to do this, and I just don't see it happening.
Historically, it never happens.
It never
happened.
Yeah,
so,
it's
they never crashed. Other than like you can look at the stock price going down when everyone else's stock price has gone down.
Sure.
So like if there's been like a recession,
big massive macro.
Everybody panics and everything goes down, right? But generally, their share prices and things have been solid and stable. And
look, they're gonna have. ebbs and flows. There's going to be some customers leaving the game because a rule set or edition, it doesn't go well, and then a new edition will come and new people will come back in, and because of TV shows and video games, like there's new crops of people going to be entering the hobby. So, but yeah, I don't know how any other game or company, like how do they find their way in and then stay there?
To me,
it's like
it feels like
no wonder they're all kickstarting.
I and this is why I when I criticize companies for kickstarting, I also empathize with their situation, right? And I think what we're seeing is a common trend in the economy. You know, to put my economics hat on for a second here, is the middle falls out in these times. So what we're seeing that happen on the individual level, where there's like a greater divide between the haves and have-nots, and we're seeing that on the corporate and the company level as well, right? We're seeing the companies that are doing well are doing really well, and the companies that were doing okay are doing much less okay, generally speaking. And so you have this like huge stratification between the two. And for the small guys to survive, they need to form these like really boutique brands. Yeah. Sort of like us. Yeah, I consider myself like we're a really micro level business, like very small. Very you know, unstable in a lot of ways in sense like that like when you think about like how little would have to go wrong for us to close forever. You know what I mean? I'm not saying like we're gonna close tomorrow, but like the number of steps to get to close versus like a big company that has like maybe 20 stores. You know, there's more steps involved, right? Yeah. So it's the same for small miniature.
There's nothing we can shed.
Miniature games, like, you know, like these tiny miniature games, like they get one thing wrong. It could be
you make like the other side or something.
You're just shooting fires. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh no! It's okay. They watched that one video. They're not watching anymore. They've already unsubscribed.
They're
so
not watching the unsub.
You can't unsub twice, right?
No, he'll sub so that he can unsub.
Oh my god! Yeah. Oh man, you see this? Jesus. Oh man.
Look, we gotta have some fun here, right? Like,
yeah. No, it's true. It's true. Yeah, it's
serious discussion.
Super serious, as all our discussions are. It is fascinating, and I think, like I said, we're in that era where these small companies need to be as hyper aware as ever of the changing times. I think you're seeing a much bigger need for these small companies to latch on to influencers, and to have, because that's the only way they compete for an audience really anymore. And versus Games Workshop, like they just fire hose things out to people, and they know every time a new model comes out that 20 people online have painted it already, and then they're putting it up the same day, and it just drowns out everything else. But you can still, like, even today, if you're a small business, you can still build a little community of people. You can still create a brand. You can still create a presence online if you build it right and you take your time. And I think these small companies more than ever need to be doing that. Like, I don't see that enough, to be honest. Like, I'll use an analogy. Like, I'm big into music and stuff, but like, I see it with some of these like little boutique guitar manufacturers that make the instruments, where they're like, the big companies out, revenue them like, I don't know, 1,000, like 100,000 to one or something, And what do? The owners of the companies and the people that work there are on videos talking to people, and they show the factory and how they make things, and you just get this like really intimate experience, which I think you're able to do when you're small. Yep. And that's the amazing thing about the internet, is you can give people that intimate experience and get to know them. The thing that Games Workshop could never do. No. You're never getting a camera in a corporate. No. You're never going to hear them say anything honest to you, and that's the way it has to be. Yeah. But you can do that with tiny companies, and that's your strength. I think you need to see more of that happen.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they need to lean into a lot more of that for sure. Yeah. It's still, even with all that though. Yeah. Of course. It's the news cycle is so fast. So yeah. You could be the darling for 2 weeks, and then I don't know.
The page turns.
Another Space Marine gets released or something.
Turns. Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah. So no, and ultimately products like this, I think, like will they're not competing with things like 40K. You know what I mean? Like, they're competing with and Games Workshop knows this, right? the way that Games Workshop attacks a product like this is when they release Warcry or Necromunda, because they know that these games tend to be with people a little bit of older demographic, a little bit more mature demographic, people that don't want the same pace of change. Like, an appealing thing about collecting Warcrow, you know, is that like I have 7 orcs to paint for my half of the box, and then next month I have 3 more. And then I might not get any the next month, and then maybe the next month I do get something. But it's a very reasonable pace to kind of maintain and keep up with, versus like, you know, an army release or something like that, right? So, yeah, I don't know. There's no answers here, just questions, just more questions,
just questions.
But we're just kind of interested in, and this is just something we're always aware of. You know, just obviously making space in your store and kind of seeing how things change and evolve.
I mean, look, the Games Workshop monopoly is real. And is something good. You know, you would think that the Asmodees or some of these other, like, that is a company or a subsidiary of companies that have big money, big money, even bigger than GW, and they've obviously like taken. It's like you're wondering if they were going to go for it, and it looks like they sort of did, but now they've like scaled back because they've done things like slice the company up and find. Anyway, that's a whole other video, but. I guess not. So we're just we're just like common humans in the grimdark 40K universe.
We're imperial citizen or whatever. Yeah. It's just how it is right now. And we're just reporting the news. Don't hate the messenger. You know,
you can hate me. Don't hate Chris.
Yeah. Well, you can. Whatever. I'll take the collateral damage. You know? When the grenade comes in or whatever. You know, get a few shrapnels.
All those other side people. Anyway.
But I hope you guys liked watching this video. And what are your comments? How do you feel like? Obviously, we're giving a retail perspective. What do you like? Are you hanging out in your local shop? Are you a shop owner? How do you feel about like these like little drops from other companies and how they land and resonate? Do you feel like you have to give more effort to them or less effort, and how do they stick around, right? If you like these kind of videos, we do these a couple times a week, and if you really like them and if you have some suggestions or questions for us, that's where we have the Patreon for. That's where we engage more deeply with our followers and fans, and you can ask us questions on there, and we're happy to answer and give some time. Yeah. Until next time, guys. Take care. Bye.